and welcome back to Eyes on the Road. We were in Bar Harbor, Maine for a week. Let's see what we did there.
The drive to Bar Harbor, Maine was about 2.5 hours. We stopped to have lunch at a TA on the way. The campground was actually on Mount Desert Island and was really beautiful. It was also close to Acadia National Park, which was a big reason for coming here. Our site was nice and big with a good amount of grass. After almost 13 months of traveling, we were close to the furthest we were going to get from San Diego at about 3,315 miles.
We met up with our friends the Ackermans for lunch. We got lobster rolls that you could try cold or hot. Most of us liked the hot ones better. Then we all went to Tidal Fall Reserve to look at the tidal pools. There wasn't much life in these tide pools, but we did find a few starfish. Our shoes got really muddy as we walked around the tide pools looking for starfish. We saw some hermit crabs too.
One day we went to Acadia National Park. We were on the Gorm Mountain Trip. It was 2 miles long. Part of it was near the ocean, while the other part was up a forested and rocky mountain. The coast was beautiful. We went out a few times on the rocks, and the view was stunning. We stopped at Thunder Hole, which is a hollowed part in the rock where water comes in and the waves crashing inside sounds like thunder. Then we went to the mountain part of the trail. It was much longer than we thought it was going to be, and fairly strenuous. It was pretty though. When we got to the top, it was very foggy. We could hear the ocean right beneath us, but could not see it. The summit was 525 feet. When we were done at the top, we headed down. The way down was like walking down a riverbed. Altogether, the hike took about 2.5 hours. On Wednesday, we went to Bar Island. It is a super cool island that you can walk to at low tide. There's a sandbar connecting the island to the town of Bar Harbor at low tide. Then, at high tide, the water goes over it and you can't walk to the island anymore. We went at low tide, so we started by walking to the island. Then we took a mile-long trail up the island. We made it to the top and found some cool old ruins on the way down. Then we looked in the tide pools. We found lots of adorable baby starfish under the rocks. There were lots of little crabs too. Melina found a really big one. We saw weird eel-like animals under the rocks too. It got quite foggy by the time we came out. It was beautiful. We came back at high tide the next day to see the comparison.
We listened to a driving tour to explore Acadia. First, it took us through Bar Harbor, then around the Big Loop in Acadia. We stopped at one of the visitor centers so the girls could get sworn in as junior rangers. We saw lots of little waterfalls on our way to Sand Beach. We saw it when we were hiking earlier that week and wanted to check it out. Sand Beach is the only beach in Acadia with sand. All the others are rocky. The waves are really big. These stone bridges were built for the carriage road. The carriage road was made by John D. Rockefeller Jr. from 1911 to 1940, so carriages didn't have to share the road with cars. You can still take a carriage ride today. The next stop was the Jordan Pond House for lunch. While we waited to be seated, I took some pretty flower pictures and we looked through the gift store. With beautiful views of Jordan Pond, the Jordan Pond House has been serving popovers and tea since 1893 when Nellie McIntyre started serving her famous popovers. Gemma continued the tradition with her hot tea, but we all got to try the popovers. The last stop on the loop was Cadillac Mountain. Cadillac Mountain is the highest mountain in Acadia National Park. From the top you can see everything, even Bar Island, and since it was low tide, you saw the sandbar too. We took a little walk to the actual top of the mountain, which is indicated by a little marker. We went to get lobster rolls one last time at the place near our campground. We came right before closing, but thankfully they were able to serve us. They had a rare blue lobster that were 1 in 2 million. They also had this one with blue spots. They released both after the storm.
Our stay in Bar Harbor was supposed to be 2 weeks, but we left a week early because of Hurricane Lee. It was downgraded to a tropical storm by then, but we didn't want to take the chance of damage to our home from a downed tree, so we went inland. It's the beauty of this life. You can move out of harm's way whenever you need to. Most of the businesses in Bar Harbor are only open for a few months, and it is a small area, so prices are quite high. We were so grateful to get to stay at 1,000 Trails because many members aren't able to get a spot. The restaurants we went to were pricey, but not for lobster.
Acadia was beautiful. See you next week on Rise on the Road. Bye!